Welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we're diving back into Twilight.
Yes, before we get too deep into anything, just a reminder, you can find us on our social medias, which is TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. The handle for all four is at Chaos Chronicles Podcast, and that's Chronicles with an S. We'd really appreciate a like, follow, and subscribe.
Yes. All right, well, let's jump on into chapter 12.
Before that, fast summary.
That's right. You got it.
I got it. So, fast summary. Up till this point, Edward has acknowledged Bella. They are kind of dating, but he has not confirmed that he is a vampire, and Bella hasn't explicitly said vampire. So, in this last chapter, Bella took a day, asked Edward all the questions she had, and then the next day, Edward asked Bella all the questions that he had, and it was all the questions. And they left off where they were continuing to have a conversation in front of Bella's house. And as Edward's reaching across Bella to open the car doors for her to hop out, because Charlie's almost home, he goes, "Oh no, that's not good," or "That's bad," or whatever it was.
Something like that.
Something that's bad. And Bella's like, "What?" He goes, "A complication." And
not good.
Not good. There we go. And that is when, at that moment, Billy Black and Jacob Black pull up and they see Bella and Edward together. And Jacob pops out all happy, like, "Hi, Bella." Edward leaves, and Billy is looking at Bella with just fear in his eyes. And Bella's like, "Oh, shit. He knows what Edward is."
Mm-hmm.
And that is where we left off.
Yes. All right, so chapter 12 is called Balancing. So the chapter starts with Charlie excitedly welcoming Billy and Jacob. Charlie disapprovingly says that he'll pretend he didn't see Jacob, but he calls him Jake, driving. Jacob swears that they get their permits early on the reservation. Charlie just laughs, and Billy tells Charlie that he has to get around somehow.
Billy is paralyzed in a wheelchair, for those who don't remember.
Yes, thank you.
No legs for Billy Black.
No. Bella went inside, leaving the door open behind her, and turned the lights on. Charlie and Jacob helped Billy from the car to his wheelchair, and the three of them hurried in the house because it was raining. Charlie is surprised that they are there, and Billy only hopes that they didn't come at a bad time. While saying this, he flashed his eyes to Bella and gives her another unreadable expression. Charlie is excited and hopes that they can stay for the game. Billy said that that was their plan, and Jacob was anxious to see Bella again also. Jacob scowled and ducked his head, and Bella was feeling some remorse. Perhaps it had been too convincing the day at the beach.
Bella, if y'all don't remember. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Bella, you were a red flag that day.
She used her feminine wiles as much as a 17-year-old girl has.
Well, when you're talking to a 15-year-old
boy to get information out of him about the Cullens. So she did her best Edward impersonation of being all dreamy, Ludo eyes. And it worked.
She dazzled him.
She dazzled him.
Yeah.
Jacob is dazzled, as a 15-year-old boy would be.
Mm-hmm. So Bella quickly breaks the tension by asking if they're hungry. Billy and Jacob had just eaten, but Charlie said that he would have some food. Bella began to make grilled cheese sandwiches and was cutting tomatoes when Jacob entered asking how things were.
Tomato on grilled cheese is actually really good.
I know, but she was already making the grilled cheese. They were in the pan. And do you put them on after?
No.
Okay, I'm confused. Stephanie, how do you make a grilled cheese sandwich?
Yeah, I have questions.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that in there because I'm like, I get putting them on grilled cheese. That sounds delicious.
It's so good.
That sounds amazing.
Throw some basil in there.
Yeah, that sounds really good. But like, she said that the grilled cheese was in the pan, and then she was cutting up tomatoes when Jacob came in.
Oh, unless Yeah, we're really having a discussion about grilled cheese
We are.
right now. Unless she was cooking it starting open face, where you cook one side of the bread
Oh,
and then you put the cheese on it, and then you take the other piece of bread, put it next to it, put the cheese on it, and then you put the tomatoes. So then you get a
I
good
could see
crisp
that.
on both, and then you can just cut together.
I could see that.
Okay, well, you're on thin ice, Bella, but we'll call it acceptable for now.
Yeah, for now. Just for now. Bella tells him that things are pretty good and asks about Jacob's car that he was working on and asked if he had finished it. Jacob had not been able to finish his car because he was waiting for parts to come in and they had to borrow a car to get to Charlie's. Jacob asked Bella if there was something wrong with the truck because she wasn't driving it when he got there. You've been caught, Bella. And that's just extremely awkward because you know this guy is like head over heels for you.
Yeah. Well, at least he's saying this to her in the kitchen and not in front of Charlie.
True, true.
And a valid question. If I had worked and put a car together and then I, send it to somebody and I pull up to the house and I see them getting a ride from someone else, that would be a valid question.
Well, yeah, I want to make sure that it didn't just crap out on you.
Yeah, I'd be like, knowing my mechanic skills, which are none, unless you include percussive maintenance. I'm quite good at that. Doesn't mean it works after, but I like hitting things. Hypothetical, not admissible in a court of law. Don't twist that. But yeah, anyway, we got sidetracked.
Yeah, you don't want either of us, as your mechanics. It would not end well.
Unless you have a death wish, then we're up for hire. Maybe. You have to sign a really long waiver before we'll get anywhere near your car.
Very, very long. All right, going back. So Bella broke eye contact with Jacob and said that she got a ride from a friend. Jacob said that it was a nice ride, but he didn't recognize the driver, and he thought he knew most of the kids around here. But his dad seemed to know him from somewhere. Bella ignores him and asks if he can grab some plates and hopes that he'll just drop the conversation. He does not. Jacob asks Bella who the driver was. Bella sighs and says, Edward Cullen. Jacob starts to laugh and looks embarrassed. He says that explains it. He was wondering why his dad was acting so strange. Bella decides to play dumb and says, Oh, that's right. He doesn't like the Cullens.
Hey, there are some times you gotta play dumb.
This is probably one of those times. Under his breath, Jacob mutters, Superstitious old man. Bella nervously and quickly asks if he thinks Billy will say anything to Charlie. Jacob doubts that he will because last time Billy brought up the Cullens to Charlie, Charlie chewed him out pretty good and they haven't spoken much since. Today is sort of a reunion for them, so he doesn't really think that Billy will say anything. Bella gave Charlie the food, and both Jacob and Bella joined Charlie and Billy in the front room. Bella pretends to watch the game while Jacob talked her ear off, and Bella was trying to listen in on Charlie and Billy's conversation, waiting for signs of Billy ratting her out. The game finally ended, and Charlie and Bella said goodbye to Jacob and Billy. Bella was heading to go upstairs when Charlie stopped her. Bella cringed and wondered if Billy had actually gotten something in before she joined them. He wanted to know how her day was, though, since they didn't have a chance to talk before their unexpected guests arrived. How sweet is Charlie?
You're so sweet.
I love Charlie.
That's so sweet. Also, an interesting small town phenomenon because, well, Billy and Charlie were up until very recently close. So, I mean, maybe unexpected visits are normal, but those are just weird to me.
Yeah, I don't do unexpected, especially like, okay, if you're going to swing by and drop something off unexpected, whatever. But like dropping by and expecting to watch the game with someone,
That throws me off.
like that would be me like stopping by after you get off work and be like, "Hey, Connie, I'm here for a movie night." And you'd be like,
I'd actually probably be like, sure, let's get a workout in together and then movie.
Yeah, probably actually, but like,
Yeah.
maybe that was a bad example.
Oh, it just throws me. But again, we're illustrating a small town feel, and maybe this was a lot more prevalent like 10, 15 years ago.
Maybe. Actually, probably. Especially because, I mean, we've had no mention of cell phones yet. And I know you said that there's cell phones in the movie.
But like, flip.
But yeah, like texting was not big. And I'm assuming people just stopped by more.
What a different world.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. So Charlie's trying to be a good dad, asking how her day
Yeah.
was. Bella, I hope she answered back and asked him about his day.
I don't think she did, but she told Charlie that she won all 4 games at badminton at school, but it was all because her partner was really good. Charlie was intrigued and asked who her partner was. Bella tells him that it was Mike, and then Charlie said that he comes from a good family, then continues and asks why she didn't ask him to the dance.
Oh, Charlie, you trying, but
You really trying?
here's the mark. Here's you. For those not watching the video, he's off the mark.
Yeah. So Bella groans and tells him that Mike is kind of dating Jessica, and besides, he knows she can't dance. He, as in Charlie, knows that she can't dance. Charlie gives an apologetic smile and then says it's actually a good thing that she'll be gone on Saturday because he made plans to go fishing with the guys from the station because the weather is supposed to be so nice this weekend. But if Bella changed her mind and wanted someone to join her, he would stay home with her. He feels guilty for leaving her alone so often. I know. He is such a sweetheart. Bella reassures Charlie that he was doing a good job and she had never minded being alone. She is just like him. She gives him a wink and smiles. Bella slept better that night, probably because she was too tired to dream. Bella got ready for the day and was whistling as she did her hair. She even skipped down the stairs, and Charlie noticed, saying, "She is cheerful today." Bella shrugs and says it's Friday. She was in a hurry to get ready, so she would be ready to leave the moment Charlie left. Edward was there waiting for him the moment Charlie was out of eyesight. Edward asks how she slept, and Bella wondered, quote, if he had any idea how appealing his voice was. Yeah.
Okay.
She said fine, and then asks if she can ask what he did. Edward says no, today is still his.
Well, I don't think y'all really laid out the ground rules, but sure, Jan, sure.
Yeah. So today, Edward wants to know more about her mom, her hobbies, her friends, her grandmother, and the boys that she has dated. Bella was relieved that she hadn't dated anyone, so this conversation was very short. He was just as surprised as Jessica and Angela when she revealed this information.
It's the 20 questions version of, so, you a virgin?
Pretty much. Yeah. Edward tells Bella that he really shouldn't have driven her today, though, because he's leaving with Alice after lunch. Bella is bewildered and disappointed, but says it's okay, she can walk. Edward frowns and tells her that he won't make her walk home. They will get their truck and leave it here for you with the keys in the ignition, unless she's afraid someone might steal it. And then he starts laughing at that last line. Bella agrees, and she thinks she's fairly certain that her keys were in the pocket of her jeans that she wore 2 days ago, and even if he broke in her house or whatever else he was planning, he would never find it. Don't underestimate Edward.
Also, why on God's green earth would you keep your keys there? Like, put your keys in a catch-all or in your purse, or you don't. Okay.
Connie, there's a reason why my okay, for everybody, there is a good reason why my husband bought me like a fanny pack that is now a crossbody bag. Um, because I was one of those people that just
How?
I I didn't have so we used to have a place in our kitchen where we could hang our keys because our we come through the back door and it was just the first place. So I used to put my keys there. But when we redid our kitchen, we didn't have that place anymore. And so then I just kind of hung on to them until I'm like, oh, I'm still holding on to them. And I would set them there and be like, I won't forget it there. And then I just can't remember where I put them. Or also, another big reason was if we went out and we were drinking, I left my keys and wallet everywhere. Like I had left them a couple times and had to run back to the previous place to be like, "Hey, left my stuff here."
Yeah, girl, different people on that one. I have always been like, nope, my key is in a specific designated spot. That my wallet is in a specific designated spot. I've always been like that though.
See, for me, even like growing up, everything went to my room. So I think I have this like ingrained in me that I have to hold on to it. And so I hold on to it until I realize, hey, it's my house. I can put it wherever I want to put it. And it just,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
valid. Valid. I don't
I don't know.
remember this part from Midnight Sun. Huh.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we'll continue. See what we got.
So Bella asks where he and Alice will be going, and he tells her that they're going hunting since he and Bella are planning on being alone together. He needed to take all the precautions that he could. He also made sure that she knew that she could always cancel. But Bella says, no, actually, she can't. I'm just rolling my eyes over here. They just won't stop rolling. uh, yeah. So Edward murmurs, perhaps you're right. And at that moment, his eyes seem to darken. Bella asks what time she'll see him tomorrow. Edward says it depends since it's Saturday and she might want to sleep in. Bella quickly tells him no, and Edward is trying to hold back a smile. Edward said, in that case, the same time as usual, and then asks if Charlie will be there. Bella tells him about the fishing trip, and then Edward asks what will Charlie think if she doesn't come home. Bella wasn't sure, and then tries to make a joke about her falling in the washing machine while doing laundry. She might get trapped. So Edward scowls at her, and Bella changes the subject, asking why they're hunting, what they are hunting, and why he is going with Alice. Edward says that they're going to get whatever they find at the park, and Alice is coming because she is the most supportive. The others are incredulous. Bella states, they don't like me. Edward disagrees, saying that's not it. They just don't understand why he can't leave her alone. Bella says neither does she. Also, Edward, just go away. Just go away. um, I'm trying not to like jump ahead because there's something like not in this chapter, but in the next chapter that I'm like, I find out some stuff. Leave her the F alone. Like, go away. Whew. We'll get to it in a couple videos. Edward rolls, or we'll get to it in the next video.
Yeah, there we go.
The next Twilight video. Edward rolls his eyes and then meets Bella's gaze, saying, quote, I told you, you don't see yourself clearly at all. You're not like anyone I've ever known. You fascinate me. End quote. Yeah. Bella glared at him, knowing he has to be teasing her. But Edward continued, quote, having the advantages I do, I have a better than average grasp of human nature. I disagree. People are predictable, but you, dot, 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 you never do what I expect. You take me by surprise. End quote. Not even sir, Edward, the way that you have acted this whole book, you don't understand humans. You don't. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you understand how to be a dick of a human, but like,
Yeah, understanding human nature and being able to exist in a society and coexist with people, very different things. See Plato, see what who's the other one? Socrates.
Socrates?
Yeah. Not nice people.
No, actually, no.
No, not at all.
So Bella looks away. Edward's words make her feel like a science experiment, and she wants to laugh at herself for expecting anything else. She rested her gaze at his siblings. They're now in the cafeteria. Don't know when that happened. They just magically appeared in the cafeteria. I went back to read and it didn't say anything about them moving to the cafeteria. They just, boom, cafeteria. So at this point, they're in the cafeteria. Edward again continues while Bella is silent. Quote, that part is easy enough to explain, but there's more, dot, dot, dot. And it's not so easy to put into words, end quote. Bella was still looking at his siblings while he talked, and suddenly Rosalie turned and glared at her with dark, cold eyes. Bella wanted to look away, but her gaze held her. Edward broke off mid-sentence and made an angry noise that was almost like a hiss.
Sorry.
I know!
Continue.
Rosalie turned her head, and Bella was relieved to be free. She turned back to Edward, her eyes wide with confusion and fear, and Edward starts to apologize for her and starts to explain that she's just worried. It's dangerous for more than just him if after spending so much time with her publicly, it were to end badly. Edward dropped his head into his hands, and Bella wanted to comfort him, but decided to not, as her touch would only make things worse. She began to realize that his words should frighten her. And she waited for the fear to come, but the only thing that came was the ache for his pain. And she was so frustrated also that Rosalie interrupted whatever Edward was going to say.
You know what vibe this is giving? This is giving the new girlfriend of a deadbeat dad who's like, oh, well, it's just because the kid's mama doesn't let him see the kids. That's what this is giving.
That fits.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, no, sweetie, you the clown. He's the deadbeat.
I cannot say enough. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Red billboard?
Yeah. Billboards.
Multiple. Bella asks if he had to leave now. Edward says yes, and it's probably for the best because they still have 15 minutes left of the movie in biology, and he wasn't sure he could take any more.
Of the movie. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So Alice came toward them, and Edward greets her and introduces the two of them. Alice says, hello, it was finally nice to meet her. It was
nice to finally meet her.
Yeah, that. Her eyes are a brilliant obsidian, and they were unreadable. Edward flashed a dark look to Alice, and Bella responds shyly, saying hi back. Alice asks if Edward is ready. He says nearly, and he will meet her at the car. Alice leaves, and Bella watches her walk and feels jealous of the way she walks so fluidly.
She is described as very like dainty, like dancer like almost. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bella's the clumsy, so
I get it.
yeah. Bella's hesitant to say have fun, but Edward grins, saying that works. He says he'll try to have fun, and then grinning tells her to try to be safe because staying safe in Forks for her is a challenge. She promises and says she'll probably just do laundry, and Edward decides to mock her, saying don't fall in. He rises, and then Bella says she'll see him tomorrow. Edward says, it seems like a long time to you, doesn't it? Bella nods, and he promises that he'll be there in the morning. He smiles and lightly brushes his fingers along her cheekbone again and then walks away. And Bella stared at him until he was gone.
Acne. 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 No. Also, that's kind of what you do with a pet.
Yeah. Well, she kind of is. If you think about it, she kind of is.
She is the equivalent to a farm cow. Kind of your pet, but kind of next week's dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Poor cow. I'm thinking of the fluffy cows.
Oh, they have an actual name.
It's like Shetland something.
I don't know.
They're fluffy,
well, now
they're
I
cute.
have to look it up. Highland cattle. Highland cattle.
Highland cattle. So Bella's Highland cattle.
Yeah. So Bella's tempted to ditch the rest of school, but decides to not because everyone would assume they were together. Since Edward was worried about the time that they were together and if things went wrong, she decided to stay. Bella knew tomorrow would be pivotal. Yeah. Bella honestly wasn't sure what went on in biology that day. She was too preoccupied thinking about tomorrow. Mike decides to speak to her again in gym class, and gosh dang it, Connie, now I can't get that out of my mind.
It was in my head too.
And if you have no idea what we're talking about, go check out last week's Twilight episode.
Chapter 11.
Yeah. So Mike decides to speak to her again in gym and wished her well for her trip to Seattle. Bella says that she canceled their trip because she was worried about her truck. Why would you even say any?
Why would you?
Exactly. Why even bring it up? Why? Yeah. So Mike then asks her if she's going to go to the dance with Cullen then. And oh my gosh, I'm sorry. You referencing that you're picturing Mike as that guy, I can 100% see him being sulky like this.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I have too, and like the attitude that comes with it. Oh no.
I told you once that connection was made.
Can we make a name for the guy so we can use
Alex.
to ref Alex? Cool. Definitely not his name, but all right, so we're gonna call him Alex. Alex fits Mike's description to a T. Oh no. Oh, because he gets so whiny.
Yeah, also kind of similar hair to Mike in the movie too.
Oh really?
Yeah. Different shade, but like similar style.
Like high school style?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm talking like I know him now. I haven't spoken to him in years, and I blocked him on social media.
I don't think he's really on it anymore. I don't see anything.
Oh, well, meh. He was too annoying to me to keep on social media.
Oh. Or maybe I got deleted. Maybe he didn't like me anymore. That's okay.
Eh,
That's what
fine.
it is.
Anywho, yeah, so Bella tells him that she canceled her trip. Mike asks if she's going to dance with Cullen then. Bella says no, she isn't going to the dance. Mike continues, what is she going to do then? I can't stop laughing. Connie, you ruined it.
I know, sorry. There's a lot of overlap. A lot of overlap between
the pushy, the whiny, the sulky. Is sulky even the right word?
sulky a little, the lustiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in other words, Mike was written really well as a teenage boy if it mirrors up to the teenage Alex that we know.
Actually, yeah. Really well. I'm
Good
going to
job,
have to
Stephanie.
write Alex down because I will definitely forget that name.
I just guessed a random name.
Yeah. All right. So, what is she going to do then? Bella was going to tell him to butt out, but instead decided to tell him laundry and studying. Mike then asks, is Cullen going to help you study? Bella responds, emphasizing Edward isn't helping her study. He is gone for the weekend. Bella makes a mental note of how naturally all these lies are coming now.
Yep. Also, hey, real quick, Bella, honey, Belle, sweetie, come here. What the are you doing?
Right?
You are not. No, if you're going to spend time with a guy, undead vampire or not, you do not set up a cover for him.
No.
You tell somebody.
Absolutely.
You don't.
Oh, Connie, it gets worse. If that's what you're worried about, oh, it gets worse.
I feel like I remember this vaguely, and then I remember this from the Midnight Sun perspective. Bella.
Yeah, no, it, yeah. So at this, Mike perks up and says that she should still come to the dance, but join their group. And he promises that they'll all dance with her.
Okay, honey, that's really sweet. Also, you do not give a girl less than 24 hours to get a dress together for a school dance. I struggled with a week's notice on prom when I was dating the upperclassmen.
Granted, finding a prom dress, though, is a lot harder than finding, like, a homecoming dance or a snow days dance dress.
Depends. Limited options for fashion down there, and you don't want to have the same dress that 18 other girls have. She's got to make a trip regardless.
Yeah. I guess I always had too many dresses because high school sports banquets. So I had a lot.
I did
And
not.
I just went to Goodwill. Goodwill
Smart.
and Savers and whatever else is around.
Deb.
Secondhand, super cheap. No one else is going to have the same dress.
Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Yeah, no. Anyway, beside the point. But nice try. I almost said Eddie boy. Nice try, Mikey boy.
Yeah. No. So Bella so Bella pictured Jessica's face and she responded in a more intense tone that she intended, saying she wasn't going to the dance. Mike went back to sulking, saying fine, he was just offering. The school day finally ended, and Bella makes her way to the parking lot. She didn't want to walk home, but knew that Edward retrieving the truck was an impossible task. But then, Bella sees her truck in the same spot that Edward had parked his Volvo that morning. Bella opens the door and sees the keys in the ignition as promised. There is a folded piece of paper on her seat. Bella gets in and unfolds it. In his elegant script, it says, "Be safe." When Bella got home, she found the front door handle locked and the deadbolt unlocked just as she had left it. Bella went straight into the laundry room, and it looked the same as she had left it as well. She dug for her jeans, and the pockets were empty. Bella decided that she must have hung them up after all. The keys.
No. In case the mic didn't pick that up. No.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how Edward is getting in and out, but we will find out eventually. So Bella decides, and this is where I'm saying it gets worse. So Bella decides to call Jessica and wish her luck at the dance. Jessica offers the same for her day with Edward, but Bella, wanting to share the same story as she did to Mike, tells Jessica that the plans were canceled. And Jessica was more disappointed than Bella thought she would be as a third party observer. And
Does she
she
not
said
know
goodbye.
teenage girls? My God.
The drama is everything.
The drama is everything.
Yeah. So now literally no one knows that she's going to be alone with Eddie Boy. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, don't do that. My God. Frickin' safety. You want to end up on a Zodiac Killer episode? That's how you end up on a Zodiac Killer episode.
Yeah.
Black Dahlia, take your pick. Zodiac.
I would take Zodiac.
Yeah.
Hopefully quick. Well, for females, it's quicker.
Yeah.
So, continuing, Charlie was absent-minded that dinner and seemed to be worried about something. Either that or he was just really enjoying the lasagna. It was hard to tell.
A good lasagna will do that to you.
Well, and that's just guys in general, too.
Guys, I will lump myself in there. If it's really good food, I'm either dancing, vibing, or if it's great, I am not thinking anything. You can see there are no brain cells, just a loading window behind my brain. It's only when it's really good food.
So Bella striked up a conversation saying that she thinks that he's right about Seattle. She is thinking about waiting until Jessica or someone else can go with her. Charlie offers to stay home, but Bella says no, she has so much to do. She'll be in and out all day. Also, their fish supply in the freezer is getting dangerously low. They're down to only 2 or 3 year supply. Yeah.
Too much fish.
Too much fish.
Too much fish.
Yeah. So no one knows where Bella's going. No one knows that she'll be with Edward. No one knows that she's supposed to see anybody on Saturday. Danger, danger, danger should be, popping up in your head if you listen to other episodes in this podcast other than just Twilight. Yeah. Danger, danger, danger.
Of all the stupid things that Bella has done in the series thus far, this has got to be the dumbest. So far.
We don't know I don't know what dumb things are going to happen in the future. Connie does.
I do.
All right. So Charlie smiles and said she's really easy to live with, and Bella says that she could say the same thing to him. Bella spends the rest of the evening doing laundry and pulling out Edward's note a few too many times. When it was an acceptable time to sleep, Bella took cold medicine for the first time to fall asleep, since her nerves were... With the way her nerves were, she would never get to sleep. While she waited for the meds to kick in, she figured out what she was going to wear and then found a CD of Chopin's music and put it on quietly and focused on relaxing. She finally fell asleep. She awoke early and had another dreamless night thanks to the cold medicine.
Yeah, that shit knocks you out.
Yeah, you're down for the count.
And if you do have dreams, they're weird.
Yeah. Bella quickly fell into the same hectic state that she was in last night. She got dressed and snuck downstairs to ensure that Charlie was already gone, and he was. Bella hurried to eat and clean up. She brushed her teeth, and as she was coming back downstairs, there was a knock on the door that, quote, sent my heart thudding against my rib cage, end quote. That is such a dramatic way to say that too.
You shouldn't feel your heart in your rib cage. Feel it up here in your sternum, which I mean technically is still part of the rib cage, but like still, like no.
Well, like usually it's like my heart was beating out of my chest, and it's like, are you just trying to be more dramatic about it? Probably. Nah. So she flew to the door and had trouble with the deadbolt, then yanked the door open with a smile. Bella felt a wave of calmness come over her when she saw his face. He should not bring you calmness, especially now that I know what I know. Edward wasn't smiling, though, at first, but his expression lightened as he looked her over and then started laughing, saying good morning. Bella asks what's wrong, and he laughs again, saying that they match. They were both wearing a light tan sweater with a white collared shirt underneath and jeans.
Okay, that's actually a cute outfit, and I'd wear it today.
Yeah. But they were both wearing.
That is cute.
Bella locked the door behind her, and they walked to her truck. Bella reminds him that they made a deal, and he has to put his seatbelt on because she's nervous enough. Bella then asks where to, and Edward directs her to go north. Bella was finding it difficult to concentrate on the road when he is staring at her. So she decides to move more carefully, and Edward asks if she was planning on making it out of Forks before nightfall.
I mean, honestly, I get why Bella's freaked, but I would want Edward to be the one driving were I in that situation. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna be way too fucking nervous. Also, you got better reflexes than me, so vroom vroom, motherfucker, you in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Well, also, he was going like 100 miles an hour last time, so I don't blame her either. Also, her truck probably can't go 100 miles an hour.
Oh, it might be able to once and then kapooey.
Yeah, that's what it is. Not sustainable. So Bella said the truck is old enough to be your car's grandfather. Have some respect.
Okay, I like that.
Edward continues to give her directions and that they were going to a trailhead. Bella asks if they're hiking, and Edward asks if that's a problem. Bella lies and tries to confidently say no. Edward assures her to not worry. It's only about 5 miles and they're not in a hurry.
She better be wearing good shoes. Tip to the bros out there, if you're taking a lady on a hike, let her know well in advance because that requires a specific type of outfit, not for fashion, for function.
Yeah, because if you're out wearing skinny jeans.
Yeah, skinny jeans and sandals.
Converse, or sandals. Converse have no traction. I love them, don't get me wrong. They're one of my favorites, but
you're going to eat shit.
I'm thinking about the hike that my husband took me on when he proposed. If I were to do that in Converse, I'd make it about probably a quarter of a mile before I either fell flat on my face, fell down something, or rolled an ankle.
Or all three at once.
Probably. That would probably happen. So all Bella can think of was the terrain and how she was going to twist an ankle or get hurt in some other way, and it was about to be humiliating. Good timing. They drove in silence. Edward breaks the silence and asks what she's thinking. Bella was thinking about the impending horrors to come, but she lied and said that she was just wondering where they were going. Edward tells her that they're going to a place that he likes to go when it's nice out. Edward asks if she told Charlie what they were up to. And when she says no, Edward says, but Jessica thinks they're going to Seattle together, right? Bella tells him, actually, no. I told her that you canceled on me. Edward seems angry.
Yeah.
And then asks, so no one knows you're with me? Bella says, it depends, because I assume you told Alice.
Not a time to be a smartass.
Edward snaps, saying, "That's very helpful."
I'm with Eddie Boy on this, okay?
Yeah. Whew. Bella pretends to not hear him, and then Edward says in a demanding voice, quote, "Are you so depressed by Forks that it's made you suicidal?" End quote.
It's a valid question in that context, okay?
It is. It is. I mean, he's warned her several times.
There's being down bad and there's being a dumb ass. And this is dumb ass.
Don't be like this.
No.
Unless you want to get murdered.
With a capital mur of murder.
Bella reminds him that he told her that it might be trouble for him with them being together publicly. Edward responds, again angrily, and a hint of sarcasm, quote, "So you're worried about the trouble it might cause me if you don't come home." End quote. Yeah. She nods her head and keeps her eyes on the road. Edward is muttering to himself, but so quietly that Bella can't hear him. They were silent the rest of the drive, and Bella, quote, could feel the waves of infuriating?
Infuriated?
Yeah, thank you. Infuriated. I can't say the word.
Is it the right word for that?
That's what was in the book.
Trust me, that doesn't mean it's right.
I know. There are so many things that come up like spell check as I'm quoting it in here. I'm like, well, infuriated.
Infuriated? Okay.
Yeah. Disapproval rolling off of him, and I will not be repeating that quote. That was hard for some stupid reason. The road ended and Bella parked. She got out of the car and removed her sweater since it was so warm. Edward's door slammed shut, and Bella looks at him and sees that he too removed his sweater and is wearing a white sleeveless shirt, and it was unbuttoned. He was facing away from her and looking into the forest. Edward is still annoyed and tells Bella this way. Bella asks about the trail. Edward tells her that he just said there was a trail, not that they would be taking it. But don't worry, he won't get them lost. Cool for the story, but for those of you that listen to our other types of episodes, ding, 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 like there should be bells going off, like alarm bells going off in your head right now. Danger.
Danger, danger, warning, you're approaching what will be known as the crime scene.
Your crime scene.
Also, I don't know the vegetation of Forks, but around here, you do not go off trail, especially in the summertime. You know why? Ticks. Hate those. Burnweed. That sucks. Nettles. Those suck.
Poison ivy.
Poison ivy. Poison oak. Mosquitoes. Arguably, possibly the worst of the bunch. Ticks.
Also, you don't know what's out there.
You don't know what's out there. Black flies. Oh, my sister's got attacked by black flies at Superior.
Those hurt.
Yeah, you get nauseous and have headaches afterwards too. Yeah, they had to jump nasty. In Superior and wait for the flies to leave them.
Yeah,
Indiana Jones style.
That's Yeah, no. Also, especially if you're going hiking somewhere up north like Superior, sudden drop-offs. Yeah, so you stay on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this part describes... That's right. This part describes Edward's chest in such great detail that I will not be talking about it. It's page 209 if you guys are curious.
All right.
But and I put in caps, the whole paragraph ends with, quote, "There was no way this godlike creature could be meant for me," end quote.
I see why you couldn't bring yourself to read this aloud.
All right, guys, we're going to make Connie just skim it.
Let's go. Let's Oh, buggers. Okay.
And that's why we have the book.
Page 209, D Dove. Where am I? I won't let you get lost. He turned in with a mocking smile, and I stifled a gasp. His white shirt was sleeveless, and he wore an abundance on the smooth. Ugh.
There it is.
I'm going to read it for y'all, the internet. Because why not? If we have to suffer, so do you. Okay. His white shirt was sleeveless, and he wore it unbuttoned so that the smooth white skin of his throat flowed uninterrupted over the marble contours of his chest. His perfect musculature no longer merely hinted at behind concealing clothes. He was too perfect, I realized with a piercing stab of despair. There was no way this godlike creature could be meant for me. The thing was, that was visual. I saw it. I feel dirtier than when I talked about the adult film industry in the other episode.
I know, it made me feel so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
Oh, that was so unnecessary too.
It was necessary for us to read to you because, again, sharing the suffering. But
oh gosh. All right, so Edward asks if she wants to go home. When she says no, he asks what's wrong. Bella tells him that she isn't a good hiker and he has to be patient with her. Edward says he can be patient with great effort. Bella tries to smile back at him, but then he says that he'll just take her home. Bella ignores him and says if he wants her to get 5 miles before sundown, they need to start, and he better lead the way. Edward hesitates, but ultimately leads the way. This wasn't as hard as Bella thought it would be. It was mostly flat, and Edward moved ferns and webs of moss out of her way. When they had to go over a fallen tree or boulders, he would help her. When he touched...
I was going to say, this is the first time they're like touching, besides sliding the microscope between each other.
Yeah. So whenever he touched her, her heart would start to thud erratically, and twice when it had happened, Bella noticed that Edward was making a face, and Bella knew that he had heard it.
That would be my most uncomfortable part of like, you can hear my heart?
Yeah.
Can you hear my digestive system? I don't want you to hear that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was thinking heart. I'm like, my heart tells all.
I mean, I don't like any of it.
Yeah, no, all the above.
All of the above.
They were mostly walking in silence, and occasionally Edward would ask her a question, but nothing like his interrogation the past few days. The hike took up most of the morning, but Edward didn't show any signs of impatience. Edward was perfectly at ease and was comfortable in the green maze. After several hours in the woods, light started to filter through, and Bella says in a teasing tone if they're there yet. Edward says nearly, and then asks if she can see the brightness ahead. Bella can just see thick forest and asks if she should. Edward smirks, saying maybe it's too soon for her eyes. Bella mutters, time to visit the optometrist, and Edward's smirk grew. After another 100 yards, Bella could see it. Edward now let her lead. She picked up her pace with eagerness. They were in a meadow that was small, perfectly round, and filled with wildflowers that were violet, yellow, and soft white. She could also hear a stream nearby. The sun was directly above her. Bella went into the meadow and turned expecting to see Edward, but he wasn't there. She finally spotted him still under the dense shade at the canopy edge, watching her with cautious eyes. Bella was so distracted by the beauty of the meadow that she forgot about Edward and the sun and what he had promised to show her today. Bella stepped toward him. Edward's eyes are wary and reluctant. Bella smiles encouragingly and beckons him with her hand and takes another step toward him. Edward holds up a hand in warning, and Bella rocks back on her heels. Quote, Edward seemed to take a deep breath, and then he stepped into the bright glow of the midday sun. End quote. And end of chapter 12.
Oh, what a spot to leave it.
I know. I
I
know.
see why you had to go and read chapter 13.
Yeah, so I read chapter 13 and I started to take notes on chapter 13. And I'm like, it quickly turned into monologue. And I'm like, I'm going to have to figure this out later because it was like 9:00 at night. So I read it in like 10 minutes. But
Yeah, it's not very long.
it's not very long. I think most of these chapters have all been around 20-ish pages. So not long at all, but takes a long time to write as in-depth summaries as I've been writing. And monologue is going to be weird. So
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's chapter 12.
That is chapter 12. And this is all just building and building until chapter 13. And in chapter 13, we find out everything. Well, not everything, but a lot. We find out a lot about Eddie Boy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like as I was reading, I was like, Bella, leave. I know you won't. And I know you didn't, but like, leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that scene from the Midnight Sun perspective. I will share it on chapter 13.
So I guess that is something to look forward to next week when we cover chapter 13. All right. Do you have anything else on chapter 12?
No, I'm excited for chapter 13.
I know. Yeah, I know. Chapter 13 should be a lot of fun. But all right.
Yeah, well, in that case, you can find us at all of our social medias, which is Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The handle for all four is at Chaos Chronicles Podcast. That's Chronicles with an S. We very much would appreciate a like and subscribe and follow if you would.
Yes.
Until then.
Yeah, until then, I guess let us know what your thoughts were when you were reading this for the first time. Do you like Edward? Do you not like Edward? What were your thoughts on Mike?
Yeah, what were your thoughts on Mike?
Well, did you have a Mike in high school?
Yes. Did you have someone who was a Mike? We had Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, tell us, what did you think of the uninterrupted flow from the throat to the marble contours of Edward's chest?
It made me uncomfortable.
There we go.
Yes. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week for our next episode of Chaos Chronicles and next episode of Twilight.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Adios.
Bye.